the universe comprises of sectors, constellations, planets, inhabited planets, understand? And in this collection of the universe, it has a creator. Meaning now, you see, I'm focusing on I'm emphasizing on our universe.
Yeah, our universe.
Because there are different universes.
That means, okay, you are trying to say aside what we are seeing, aside us, possibly all the countries we know and all of that, there are other entities.
Other planets, yes.
Okay.
And other intelligent beings in other worlds.
Okay.
So ours here is just in one of the universes that exist. But then each universe has its own creator. And this creator is the God of his universe. Nobody goes beyond his territory. Now, each of these God of his universe or creation have a certain task and assignment to fulfill. From the moment these gods leave paradise to come and begin their work of creation, which is the Father's business, expanding of the Father's, how will I put it, the reflection, because I don't know the right word to use it, but let me just put it this way. They want to replicate the Father's universe.
Yeah.
That is actually the grand universe.
Okay.
Yes. God actually has his own universe where, when I mean God again, because English now has limited us with vocabulary. Our vocabularies are not perfect to describe the idea of deity. You understand? Now, these limitations again, but which one are not supposed to mix everything. Now the Father, let me use the word Father. Let's segregate him to the Father.
Yeah.
There are other divine beings which are.
So we are talking about the God now that
we know
as the
G
God, the capital letter G.
Oh,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, the Father, just call him the Father.
The Father, okay.
Or the universal Father, or the source, the first source, and center. Now, he has his own universe. His own universe is Havana. In the center of his universe is where paradise is. Now, paradise is the only stationary plane, or let me say, place in the entire verse of all the universes. And each of them are rotating around paradise. Now, all of us, our universe actually is at the boundaries of the third cycle. The third cycle is actually where the evolutionary planets or universes of time and space.
Yeah.
Now we exist in time and space.
Okay.
So at the boundaries, at the edge of where let's say Father has a piece of land. Okay, take the whole of this verse far as you can go.
Yeah.
So that is how it is. So now, in the middle of this planet, there is paradise. That is where God is and where the gods dwell. Now, remember the Bible mention of something like the Godhead.
Yeah.
In many places. Yeah. Like I always want to encourage these our brothers to understand. The Bible also has some portion of truth. There is no book that is useless.
Yeah.
You understand? There is no book that is useless. There is no book that is evil. There is no book that is totally good again. You understand?
Yeah.
In as much as says human beings are rooted, it cannot be totally good. Because human beings are just like that. So yes, the Bible uses the word Godhead. You understand? Godhead, meaning that is a head, which all of them surrender their full allegiance to. This is our boss. You understand? We have agreed. You are going to be ours. But then it's not just like as if they agreed. Actually, he's the first. And this God is energy.
Okay.
Meaning creation, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. That's why that day when Anna told me that we're having a discussion with an atheist, I was excited because I want to reason in their own way and explain God to them, because I believe I can convert an atheist. Because I don't really need to convert like to a religion, but like his mentality.
Yeah.
Understand? Because if you look at it clearly, but God is everything, but everything is not God.
Okay.
They understand? God is everything.
Okay.
In that the existence of everything is not possible without him. Energy. But then he is not everything. Meaning those things are not supposed to be symbol of worship.
Oh, okay. I think I get now.
Because in animism now, these are people who did that. You can even worship the trees. You can worship, yeah, those elements of the earth, this air, the sun, the water, the fire, everything. It's because there is God, they exist.
That's true.
It's because now I was talking about the central universe of Havana, paradise where God dwells. Like this is where He is, and guess what? He has never left that place.
Oh.
Like He literally has never left that place where He is. How does He operate? He operates through fragment. Let's put it this way: like we have a high voltage going through cables. You cannot just go and just block your phone like this now. There have to be some step downs.
Yeah.
Transformer, then stabilizers,
and the rest to your wall sockets. And
now this is the level God wants to reach out to everybody. He can come down to your level. So like the topic we are going to be discussing today about ATI, God has been moving with Africans' traditional religion since Adam and Eve. He has been moving around, like moving within different people. You don't concern him whether he's your enemy or he's your friend. No. He's also in that your enemy. He's also working. And that's why God is everywhere. He's everywhere, in everything. In Him we live and in Him we move.
And have our being.
Thank you. Paul understood something about that truth. Well, see, the air we breathe, everything is Him.
Okay.
That's why He knows everything.
But then, do you think the story of the creation in the Bible is actually, as you said, the Bible is a source. It has an atom of truth in it. Yeah. So do you think the story of creation, like, it really makes sense to your own perspective?
Okay, the story of creation. First of all, when I started my spiritual awakening, the first thing I discovered in Genesis chapter 1 was that let there be light. That light was not the sun and the moon. That was when I woke up, because then if you cancel that one now, then it cancels the number of days of creation.
Okay.
Then now man was made on the 6th day. Is man part of the creation of the earth? Because He said He made the heavens and the earth. Yeah, if man is part of the creation, then it reduces the creation to 5 days. But then everybody goes with popular truth, 7 days now. 7 days, you understand? But then the light was not the sun and the moon. The sun and the moon were made on the 4th day. So then I started asking, what was that first light? And then the only answer I could get closer to it was John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And without Him was nothing that was made. Could it be that is why some people still worship light? Some people still worship the sun as a symbol of light? Could it? Now these things is beyond what we are looking at it. The Bible also can be used as scripture in different religions. Now, if you look at it again from another angle, Genesis 1 is actually talking about evolution. Let there be light. There was a Big Bang theory Charles Darwin was trying to say. Understand? And most of these scientists are Jewish.
That's true.
Do you understand? So even the foundation of the religion called Christianity is they still borrow some Jewish, you understand, beliefs. So now let there be light. There was a Big Bang. So what's bad there? After a Big Bang, the big explosion, and then that light again is energy. You understand? Light, and that light is not heat. How do you call it? Because there are different forms of energy. Light without heat. Thank you. That's the one I'm talking about. Light without heat. Unlike this our sun. There are other solar systems that have their suns that don't burn like this.
Okay.
It's just light. They illuminate light.
Okay.
This is our own planet because of how it originated. The sun is heating out because of the elements in it. So now, where was I?
Okay, yeah, you were talking about
the creation in Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2, they are almost somehow different. Now, on the 6th day, the statement came up like this: let us create man in our own image, right? Male and female created He them, and He placed them on earth. He said, let them have dominion over the air, the land, and beneath the earth. Understand? So Male and female created he them. Then we came to Genesis chapter 2. It's another different story. We are hearing now that water is coming out from the bottom of the earth because there was no man to till the earth. So what happened to the Genesis chapter 1? Then you notice that he said he just created a small garden and then he created one man and placed him inside. And then afterward, God thought that, it is not good for a man to be alone. Then he created him a woman from his rib. Now, most of this story, there are some scientific truths about some of those stories again, because, for example, talking about the rib, understand? When Adam saw his wife, he said, "Bone of my bone," all of these things.
He was giving flows.
Yeah, there's something about the bone there.
Okay.
It's like carbon dating. They are trying to let us know that for life to come into being, there is something called DNA.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
In a certain sense, they are trying to let us know that creation again needs actually something from a man. So yes, the scientific part also play adds up there. But this is the real thing I'm trying to say before I said this. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, all through the Old Testament, before Book of Daniel, were all written within one era. And this era was like thousands of years after even Moses has passed away. Now, after the captivity in Egypt, they were also in Babylon, where the Bible told us they picked the brightest amongst them. Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, and all of those. Understand? Why did they have to pick the smartest among them? Because to work in the king's court, you need bright people who can learn fast.
Yeah.
So now these Jews in captivity, they selected the best of them. When they came to the palace, now they learned that library in check out their life before Babylon. All they have been slaves. Slaves don't have time to educate themselves.
Definitely.
Yes. So they have been slaves all the while. So they coming into the palace now, they discover that there is a place they call library where they keep before then till Egypt. And Moses was the only person who had access to it. That's why he was smarter than all of them. Yeah. And he can easily tell you God said. But trust me, God did not say anything. That's why Jesus kept saying, Moses said, but I say. Yes. Because you who have knowledge, they say one eye man is
a king in the land of the blind.
Yes, now. So Moses was actually, he had a good motive. I didn't say he meant to mislead them or anything, but to control those kind of people, you need knowledge, you need philosophy, in fact, you need knowledge. Let me just put it this way. So, back to Babylon. When these wise men were brought to the palace, to learn some of those things. Now, from the libraries, they discovered that, so people are actually keeping history of their culture. Wow, they were impressed. They were like, wow. So they were reading history of different cultures, different countries, maybe nations they did not even know of. Basically, that was when they first discovered it, reading in the library. Then they decided that, okay, we are going to write our own story. That's what the Old Testament is. It's entirely a Hebrew story of their own ancestry. How their ancestors walk with God.
So the way we see books like, let's say, the story of Nigeria before independence.
Yes, that is why it's only in Genesis you hear Adam begot this begot this, that begot. No, I want you to understand the stories were written from that present time backwards. They wanted to just trace it to the beginning of all things. Now, when they discovered this knowledge now, they say knowledge corrupts, and corrupts absolutely. But the knowledge those wise guys learned in Babylon, it helped them again, but it did not help them in another way again because they added selfishness to it. They wanted, like I was emphasizing the other day, he who writes his own history writes out his own sins. They were the ones who came up with the chosen people. It's their book. So they can edit the story. They are the chosen people. Yes, and before then, they also read in other books too, where other nations too are claiming chosen people. So they learned, just like saying the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he got inspired from the Bible. Okay, he had a Catholic who was working with him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that was. And she's a Catholic, by the way, like I said. So that's why some of their practices, they said it goes hand in hand because he got illuminated through her. And that's why even in the Hadith and the Quran, they give much acknowledgement in a certain way, like when you don't understand a certain thing, meet the people of the book. My dad is actually from a Muslim background, so he used to tell us all things. I'm not a good reader. I will just go and pick Quran and tell he has read the Quran through and through. So in the Quran it says that if you don't understand, there are some certain things that means no-go area. So those key places, in some places, the Hadith will honestly tell you, meet the people of the book. And who are the people of the book? The Jews or the Christians. So where did he learn some of these things? I believe personally, Christianity and they are all called Abrahamic religions, by the way. They have their roots. The root of their problem is a family issue. It's a family issue. And the Jews and all the people in the Middle East and one in all the people in the Middle East, to me, I feel like they are family. It's just a family misunderstanding they're having today. But now, we who don't understand some of these things will be defending them. No, there are more Christians in Palestine than there are in Israel. This is another one again, maybe we need to fact check again, but why I find out there are more Christians in Palestine. Jesus was also born in Palestine. Bethlehem is in Palestine. Understand? So all these things is within themselves. They know themselves. So back to Genesis now. When they first learned some of these stories, they started working on their own story from where they were. Now the purpose why they wrote the story is that was the worst captivity of their entire history. So they fear that they might go extinct. Just like we are doing ethnic cleansing today. Some people they will either marry and blend, and like Egypt today, we see white people, but these white people here are not the real Egyptians. Egypt was taken over by war. Understand? There was a siege. Two nations came around. The Greeks from the north, the whole story is still within the story, this Bible story that was really, dust off like that. So they wrote the story backwards. Now, in some places that they could not remember the whole story of the genealogy from who gave birth to who, so they would just keep. And then they created the flood of Noah. To say, okay, from these people now, we cannot remember from between the story. Trust me, the flood of Noah was a myth.
Okay.
Yes. And I'll show you within the story. I'll prove it to you now within the story. Because it takes a sincere, open-minded person to ask the right questions. Now let me lay the foundation for you. God does not change, right? He's not the Son of Man that he should change. He doesn't change. Does God react? Do you think anything will make God react? Like surprising, like surprise, like this? Do you understand?
He knows the beginning from the end.
Now, when you read Genesis, I think it's chapter 8, talking about the flood, I think it's chapter 8, you see where a God was shocked. And then the Bible said, and God saw that mankind is wicked. And he regretted. What? No, he regretted. Man took God by surprise. Like, do you understand what I mean, God? So, the past, present, and future, he has seen the past. Past, present, and future self doesn't exist. You know why? Because he's the past, present, and future.
He lives in the time, he lives in those
then man, he will regret making man. And then the best way to get rid of man was to send water to kill every man. And then John, who is this guy, Noah, was the only person you found. Understand? Now, you see how we started this thing, the creator of our universe, right? We are still coming back to our creator of our universe. The whole story is connected. So now, this God was angry. This God. Now, let me tell you something. When the real God that created this universe came to earth, the people who are killing him, he You are flogging him. How did he react? Forgive them. They don't know what they are doing. So why can't people see that the God of the Old Testament is entirely not God, not Christian, not, in fact, it has nothing to do with God. And this is actually what is causing the confusion of the entire religious people today, because they still hold on to superstition, all those tales that were created, understand? The flood actually happened, but it wasn't the entire world. Noah was a bold builder. He lived by the sea. So being a weather, how would I put it, in our time, people, most of these weather scientists that give weather reports.
Yeah.
He understood the times, and he understood understand weather and nature. So yes, he spotted that there was going to be a flood. Understand? He warned people. And yes, when we say God spoke to him, every inspiration comes from God.
Okay.
Every inspiration, music, arts. There are 7 forms of arts, which each of them are connected to. In the Greek mythology, they said the 7 daughters of Zeus, right?
Yeah.
One in charge of inspiring from music, one. But in our own beliefs, we believe that there are actually 7 cosmic cycles in that. The universal, in another tradition again of spirituality, is called the 7 chakras. Okay, most of these things, they are within us, but it's supposed to help us understand some certain things. So there are inspirations, there are intuitions, there are different knowledge, or let me say, they are just like the extra senses beyond the 5 senses we are supposed to have. Understand that we have not yet used. So yes, creativity, which is why the purpose of this place. So these are where people who are plugged to one circuit of creativity. Understand? You harness that, and trust me, creativity, to be creative, is spiritual. It's highly spiritual.
Wow.
Yeah, it's highly spiritual. So now he got the inspiration that there was going to be a flood, and then the inspiration he got was that the best way to escape this one now is to build a boat in a house form with shade. You understand? Something that will cover you and keep you warm, because it's going to take a long time. So that one actually was an inspiration. But the inspiration did not tell him that people are going to die or one of these things. The stories. And yeah, it's very important to note again, information during the Old Testament times were passed orally. And when information is passed orally, you tend to skip or add information.
Yeah, that's true.
Understand? So when they finally documented the whole story, they went back to Genesis now. They borrowed, while we talk about the Sumerian text for the culture, Babylon is the actual Sumeria. Sumeria is in Babylon. Understand? So that's actually where they got the Sumerian ideology of Genesis. And in the Sumerian, now, why am I emphasizing on the Sumerian text or history? Because that's where you hear the flood in the Sumerian text. And it's older than the Bible. It's older than even the time they wrote Genesis.
Wow.
That's why you hear the let me call it where the Enlil, the Enki, the Anunnaki gods.
Okay.
The Anu, meaning the ones that came down.
Yeah.
You understand? Or what you want to call today as the Nephilims.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, those the families of the Anaphilims, Nephilims, and
so
the rest.
yes, so to capture that thing now, some of those myths of the Sumerian text, they were also captured in the Bible. That's where you see in fact, the one who actually sent water to earth to destroy the earth, I think it is Enlil or Enki. I'll check out the whole thing for you later. But anyway, these stories were borrowed, and then down to the one who deceived Eve, all of those things, the use of symbols, those things were not written in English again. People don't understand. So we are reading the Bible in English, man. We are far again because it was translated from different. In fact, the original language in those days was symbols. Maybe they would just draw a bird, they would just draw a symbol, a shape of something. They understood what it is. Now you go to Egyptian tombs today, you see some of those writings, but you who know how to read it, you understand. You just be looking at the images and they are actually telling a story. till we could write S today, we could. They are evolution of, that's the evolution of alphabet. So, Genesis, back to Genesis, why I believe in Genesis. There are truths and then there are myths again. And then, like I said, it's human beings that write it back.
Yeah.
But this is, let me stick to what is true.
Okay.
This is what is true. I don't know where you should start, whether I should start from Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The Hebrew word for God there is plural. In the beginning, according to the Old Testament people, they said the gods created the heavens and the earth. That's why you still repeated it, let us. And then when they came to the Tower of Babel, let us go down and see what. Thank you. So the Old Testament people were not a monotheist people. They were polytheists. They understood God as gods. So today when people talk about the African traditional religion,
The gods of our land.
they think they are just, okay, I will come back to them soon, but let's stay in Genesis. Now, the gods created the heavens and the earth. And the heavens too was plural because it's cosmos. That was
cosmos.
The heavens and the earth. And what's the cosmos? The universe. Understand? And then they talk about the spirit of the Lord that was hovering over the surface of the water. Now, that spirit of the Lord that was hovering over the surface of the water, right? We'll come back to it, but let me ask you a very critical question. Do you think space is water?
Space, like
space, what we call space.
Space. Well, I think according to science, is a free what's it called? It's a free environment. Yeah,
it's free. You understand? But why do you think astronauts train underwater? Zero gravity now.
Yeah.
You understand? But as above, so below now. No, I don't know. Let me not bring that philosophy here. But no, because personally, I don't believe in flat earth theory. I believe the earth is
spherical.
And at the same time again, I believe that is a shield. Because when the Bible mentioned the word firmament in that creation story, it brings to more questions again, because what is firmament? It's just like saying you cover us with a dome, like when you carry a glass of water, you cover it and press it down, that water will not enter. Understand? So outside is water, below it is water.
That's true.
So that's actually what the firmament is supposed to be, because when you read in Genesis, they said that God separated the waters above from the water below, right? So what waters above? Like he separated the waters, meaning that okay, to my interpretation, that are